What's good, YouTube? It's your boy 2K the God, my man Sess. Welcome to the Gods of Boxing Talk. Now I know you can't see my man Sess, but he's over the phone. Go ahead and let him know you're here, boss.
Oh yeah, as always.
Word of life, word of life. And then of course the man you can't see is my man Bo. He's back on the show. And I want to let y'all know that he's got his own channel. I'll let him know what your channel is, Bo.
My channel is called Truth and Facts About Boxing. It's just another way just to talk about the thing about boxing that's the positive side of the sport. You know, get some of the negative out, get some of the personal agenda out, just talk about the positive side of the sport and the sport itself. You know, good debate, just good debate and disagreements, but everything respectful.
Absolutely. So go ahead and look him up, subscribe, do what you do. All right, for this segment, my man Bo is going to join me. My man Sess is here. We want to talk about the most popular topic in boxing right now, and a couple of things that we want to break down. Basically, one being comparisons of Canelo and Khan to Triple G and Kell Brook. We've got assessing Kell Brook, whether or not this fight is actually a cherry pick, and then we got the fan perception, pretty much a general consensus of how the fans really feel about Gennady Golovkin picking Kell Brook as an opponent. Now, I want to get some statistics down for you guys. Okay. Kell Brook, and then this is mainly just weight. We're not going to talk about fights or nothing like that. Kell Brook has weighed in his career as high as 155 pounds, right? And that was back in 2008. And he has weighed in as low as 137 pounds. That's back in 2005, okay? Since 2008, he only weighed more than 148 pounds twice, that being 151 pounds both times, okay? Triple G has only weighed exactly 160 pounds 4 times in his career. That's 34 fights. He's only weighed exactly 164 times, okay? He's weighed over 160 only twice in his career, and that was only by 1 pound, 161. The majority of the time that Triple G weighs in is going to be between 158, 159. That's usually what he weighs in at, okay? Now, just to start the little process off about the comparisons of Canelo, Khan, Triple G, and Brook, and I'm going to go to my man Sess first.
Yes, sir.
Amir Khan has weighed as low as 134 pounds. And he actually weighed 139 and a half pounds just 5 fights prior to fighting Canelo Alvarez. Just to tell you, recently, within the last 5 years, he has weighed less than 140. Sess, is this the same?
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I no matter how I look at it, it's the same thing to me.
Okay.
You know, I can't get around the fact that at the end of the day, both fighters are welterweights.
Right.
You know, I mean, I like how you gave the background and everything, but these fighters are primarily used to fighting at welterweight, 147 pounds. And whether they go into the fight weighing a little less or whatever the case may be, they're still fighting at 147 pounds. And they've elected to move up, you know, to 160 and 155. But at the end of the day, to me, it's the exact same thing. They should not be fighting at these weights.
Let me say this, boss.
Oh, yeah.
Kell Brook is apparently a big welterweight. Now, one of the biggest things that Tom Loeffler is banking on is the fact that within the IBF limit, you can only weigh up to 10 pounds more than the weight limit of the actual fight. The actual fight is being sanctioned at. So Kell Brook's last fight, he weighed in at 146 and a half pounds against Kevin Bizier, and then the IBF limit will only let him gain 10 pounds to where he can only weigh 156 and a half pounds at a max, right?
Okay. Yep.
Does that make a difference when we're talking about Kell Brook being a bigger welterweight? Bo shaking his head.
No, it doesn't. And reason being is because Gennady Golovkin is naturally the bigger guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? He naturally fights at the bigger weight. I expect for Kell Brook to get in the ring against Gennady Golovkin and probably look a bit small. Now, when I say that, a lot of people have a hard time imagining that because Brook does have good, he has an incredible body at 147 pounds, but he's jumping in the ring with a guy that's naturally bigger than him, that naturally walks, that probably naturally walks around a bit bigger than he does. I know Kell Brook always looks a little chunky to me when he's walking around, but I can't get past the fact that Gennady Golovkin is just naturally a bigger guy. Right. You know, and I expect, my last point is, I expect for you to be able to tell that Golovkin's bigger in terms of when they start letting them gloves fly. Right. You're gonna be able to tell that Golovkin is, I mean, he's the bigger puncher either way it goes. He fights guys that are naturally bigger than Kell Brook.
Right.
You know, he's been in the ring with guys that are naturally strong, probably stronger than Kell. Look at Willie Monroe. Look at his body.
Right.
You know? So Golovkin's hit bigger guys. He's knocked out bigger guys. I understand that Kell Brook has knocked out guys and he's hit guys too, but he's knocked out and hit guys that are naturally smaller than the guys Golovkin is fighting.
Okay.
So
go ahead, keep going.
I'm sorry. And my last point. So I honestly don't believe that Brook is going in this fight with any type of advantage. Whether, you know, just either way I look at it, you know, I don't think he has any advantage in this fight.
Before I go to my man Bo, I left a little detail out on purpose because I didn't want to contaminate my man Sess's response.
Okay.
And now that I actually seen Bo's physical response to that last question, Tom Loeffler said that it doesn't make a difference. He tried to kind of manipulate your state of mind, your mindset, and thinking about weights in this fight. What I said was actually quoted by Tom Loeffler, but then he turned around and said, "Hey, it's not the same thing as Canelo Khan. You know, the IBF limit is 10 pounds after the sanctioned weight, and it's not like Golovkin comes in ever in his fights over 170 pounds. He actually comes in at 170 pounds. But if that's still like 14 pounds bigger than what Kell Brook was in his last fight, let's say he even took the max 10-pound limit, right, of 156, that's still 13 and a half pounds bigger. But what do you think?
First of all, as always, thanks for having me. I love what you guys do. And to my man Tavon, see, I got a full-length shirt on, so leave me alone, all right? All right. Here's the thing with me, and I disagree with Sess on one aspect. The only advantage that Kell Brooks got is the crowd, because it's going to happen in his home country.
Okay.
That's the only advantage that he has is the crowd. He'll have the crowd. Right. But this is the exact same thing to me as Khan and Brooks, because both Khan and Brooks, after some of their biggest wins, have done basically the least amount possible to the easiest path to the biggest fight.
Absolutely.
Both have done that. So that's the same to me. It's, regardless of how you try to put it, it's still a welterweight going up. Some would like to say, well, Khan only went up one weight class in 1 pound, but he still was competing at one 460-pound title.
Right.
The same thing that Brooks is competing at a 160-pound title, and I already knew when this fight was announced it was going to be at 160, because if Golovkin goes to 157, then it's going to be, then you could have went to 155 for Canelo.
Yes.
So I knew they were going to do that. I wasn't shocked by this move, because remember, Kell Brooks asked for this fight once before, and what Kell Brooks is trying to do is he's trying to one-up Amir Khan. Okay, that's all he's really trying to do. He's risking absolutely nothing, but the reward is great, because if he loses, he is still the IBF welterweight champion. Khan never lost his spot. When he lost to Canelo, Brooks is not going to lose his fight. And if
Yeah.
he wins, if he just lasts the fight and looks competitive and go 12 rounds, that's still a big win for him, even if he loses.
Right.
It's still a big win for him.
Right.
You know? So, but as far as what Tom Laughlin and even Eddie Hearns them is trying to say, listen, they got to come up with some kind of way to make this sound good. And they're preying on those who are so much of a fan that they're blinded by the actual things that you're being presented, that they're just so much of a fan that they're just going to go with this.
Right.
Yeah. Those are the people they're appealing to with that statement.
Right.
Okay. But they know better. And, you know, I'm not going to sit and say I don't mind a fight. I'm not going to say I don't mind a fight. Listen, a big welterweight to me is a guy like Sean Porter, who in the amateurs fought at 160 fucking pounds. That's a big welterweight.
Right. Right.
Okay. You can't give me Brooks, who even in the amateurs didn't go past, I think, 152 pounds, even in the amateurs. So you can't tell me, well, he's a big welterweight. Now, if you want to say he has some size on him and all that, that's fine. But when he stand next to Golovkin, hell, put Kell Brooks next to David Lemieux. He looks small.
Well, see, that's the thing. This is what Tom Laughlin's argument is. He's saying put him next to Triple G because apparently he thinks Triple G is a small middleweight. Putting Kell Brook next to Triple G, they're the same size. This is what Tom Laughlin says.
Well, he's going to say that, but the reality
Right.
is this: whatever you come in at on fight night, we know that Triple G is a guy that walks around 180 pounds. Triple G is a guy who drops sparring partners that are cruiserweights. Kell Brooks is not doing that.
Absolutely.
And that's what Kell Brooks is going to have to contend to. So you can't, when I'm looking, look, I have nothing against Triple G, and I say this all the time, but you can't give me a top pound for pound dude or tell me he's the future boxing doing something like this.
Absolutely.
That's you just can't sell me on that.
Well,
I mean, it's a good. Hopefully, it'll be a good competitive fight, which is all we can ask.
and this is the same shit. You know,
Finish the laugh there, Seth.
my verdict is that this is the same shit. Only difference to me is that I feel that Kell Brook has a better chance of actually winning than Khan had a chance of beating Canelo. I said Khan would get knocked out in 4. You know, of course he looked good until I think round 6, right, or 7. I can't even fucking remember. I think it was 7.
I think it was.
Where he got caught. So he proved me wrong on that one, but he still got knocked the fuck out. My prediction was still right. He's still gonna get knocked out. And this one, Kell Brook has shown over the years that he has a decent chin against C-level fighters. And let me explain what I'm talking about. See, a lot of cats don't know who the fuck Kell Brook is, right? They know him after he beat Sean Porter, okay? Yep. I watched Kell Brook fight that cat, Carson Jones, twice, okay? The first one was to like a majority decision, right? And then the second one, Kell Brook knocked him out, but it was a premature stoppage, in my opinion. Now, in that majority decision fight, he rocked the shit out of Kell Brook multiple times. And this guy is a C-level fighter. He's a C-level fighter. He's not on the level of a Keith Thurman. He's not on the level of a Errol Spence. He's not even on the level of a fucking Paulie Malignaggi. You know what I'm saying? And this guy rocked Kell Brook on multiple occasions. Now, Kell didn't get knocked out. Kell didn't drop. But that was against a C-level fighter. That's my problem. And then on top of that, he's moving up 2 weight classes. I'm going to tell y'all a little something right now. Carson Jones' record, he's 38-11 with 3 draws. That's the type of guy that gives Kell Brook problems. So, I think this is the exact same thing. I still favor Kell Brook in this matchup as far as over Khan, favoring Khan over Canelo. I think Golovkin wins this fight. I think he wins it rather